This is in continuation of my previous video on Twelfth Night. In this lecture video, I shall explain Twelfth Night as romantic comedy and analyze the main characters of the play. Twelfth Night as romantic comedy. Twelfth Night is perhaps Shakespeare's most lyrical comedy. It contains an attractive love romance with charming comedy based on wit and sparkling humor. Its actions bordering on farce. The strongly contrasted elements of romance and farcical situations are presented in excellent actions in the play. We know that the settings of Shakespearean comedy is romantic. Shakespeare chose to set this comedy in a country, Illyria. Its name enfolds the word lyre, which means a musical instrument with strings. This self-indulgent lover's territory gives us a vivid sense of its atmosphere. It depicts the complicated fortunes of twins shipwrecked in this strange land. Shakespeare blends various elements to create the comedy. Laughable scenes arise from misunderstandings created by the startling resemblance of Viola to her brother, Sebastian. When two persons are so like in appearance that one is taken for the other, it can lead to a comic situation. The audience knows that Olivia is making love to a woman and marries Sebastian, thinking him to be Viola or Cesario. Cesario, who is Viola. Sir Andrew is challenging a woman to fight. Both these episodes of dramatic irony are typical of the action of all the romantic comedies. Humor arises when Viola takes on the disguise of a man, making the plot structure more intricate. In her new identity as Cesario, she falls in love with Duke Orsino. When she acts as the Duke's messenger to convince Olivia to accept Orsino's proposal, Olivia falls in love with Viola. Shakespeare expands the limits of romantic comedy to incorporate a range of emotional effects unequaled in English comedy. Love plays a major role in Twelfth Night, and Shakespeare addresses true love, self-love, and friendship in a very compelling and interesting way. The emotion of love overpowers Viola, Orsino, and Olivia, creating a love triangle. It is also a tale of love at first sight. The Duke, Orsino, falls in love with Olivia as soon as he has seen her. Viola falls in love with the Duke immediately. Olivia falls in love with Cesario in the course of her very first interview with him. Again, Malvolio, Olivia, Sir Andrew form a part of the love triangle that dominates the subplot. The emergence of Viola's brother, Sebastian, along with Sir Toby Belch and Maria, further complicates the romantic life of these characters. Malvolio's self-love and social position deters him from aiming for Olivia. In Twelfth Night, like any other comedy of Shakespeare, romantic love triumphs and the tale of love ends with the ringing of marriage bells. Music comes next in importance. Love of music is also a romantic quality. Most of the songs in the play are provided by the clown or the fool. The play opens with music. We find that the Duke feeds on love with music. He is a man of a genuine musical taste. He likes sentimental melodies which deal with the subject of love and death. Even Sir Toby and Sir Andrew are fond of music. Thus, music does much to heighten the romantic atmosphere of the comedy. In Twelfth Night, we find the best example of Shakespearean clown, Feste. There is a good deal more than mere jesting. The clever remarks of Feste contain worldly wisdom. Feste shares the element of humor with Malvolio, Sir Andrew, and Sir Toby. Sir Toby is said to be the lord of misrule. He is funny yet embarrassing. Their drunken midnight revels and mocks reflect their sense of fun. Quite strikingly, the phrase 12th night is first uttered in a conversation between Toby and Andrew, the two most important figures of the subplot. While Toby plots for deliberately deceiving Malvolio, Andrew deceives himself unknowingly. Thus, the title is best suited to the temperament of revelry of drunken men. Analysis of major characters of the play. Orsino. Orsino is the Duke and Count of Illyria. Shakespeare wants to situate Orsino in our minds as a type of courtly lover who is more in love with the very idea of being in love than actually in love with Olivia. He poetically reflects on the torments of his unfulfilled and rejected love. There are conventional references to hearts, love, and flowers in his language. Rather than press his suit in person, he sends messengers to Olivia. He is the well-born lover, disappointed Romeo, elegant and charming, but clouded with melancholy. This impression of him quickly establishes itself in our mind and never really changes. The one constant thing about Orsino is his self-centeredness. Our first impression of the Duke is of a rather fickle and self-indulgent, egotistical man. Orsino seems to lack moderation. He is a figure of excessive emotion. He has within 3 days become so attracted to the good youth Cesario that he becomes his confidant, to whom the Duke reveals the secret of his soul. Orsino does strike us as a sentimental man, and he values Feste's singing. It evidently impresses and even moves him. His approach towards love is more pompous and dramatic than real. He longs for melancholic music, shows disinterest in hunting, and detaches himself from the affairs of the country. Orsino seems genuinely glad to Feste and invites him to sing. The Duke fancies that he appreciates and knows something of the origins and traditions of music and song. This is evident from his frequent remarks to Viola. Orsino is so deeply involved with his being in love condition that he fails to realize Viola's love for him. He even fails to see through Cesario's disguise, despite the fact that he spends a large part of the day with her. He even does not understand the implication of the love story that Cesario narrates and refuses to take any hint, however much Viola tries to express her feelings. Viola. Shakespeare calls his heroine Viola a name that shares not only with a flower but also with a musical instrument. Viola is not only one of the loveliest of Shakespeare's heroines but also surpasses them all in the unselfishness of her love. From the very beginning, Viola shows a mark of intelligence even in her dealings with the sea captain. Shakespeare often puts her heroines in male dress for various reasons. Viola is driven to adopt it as the necessity of her situation, which drives Viola to disguise herself as a male. Shipwrecked on the coast of a strange land, she can think of no shelter except in the court of the Duke. But Viola is never quite at ease with her disguise. She finds no pleasure or amusement like other heroines of Shakespeare. Under such circumstances, she not only cannot tell her love to Orsino, but is also compelled to be his messenger to Olivia. She discharges this unwelcome duty with absolute loyalty. When she finds that Olivia is in love with her, she feels that she is in a predicament out of which she can find no escape. Her weakness and cowardice comes forth when she finds herself in a fight with Sir Andrew. However, in comparison to Orsino and Olivia, she is more determined, level-headed and practical. Her problems are real and she is a more rounded character than the others. She does not lack in courage when we know that she can reveal her love to Orsino at last. Olivia. Olivia is a rich countess of the land of Illyria. She has a very interesting introduction. We are not introduced to her directly. Rather, we hear about her from other characters until we actually meet her. We get the basic information about her through the pining of Duke Orsino in the initial scenes of the play. The death of her father and her brother has left her orphaned, but she is more independent as she is the sole owner and administrator of the property and handles her own finances. Her uncle, Sir Toby, is less of a guardian figure and more of a source of constant embarrassment in her life. As the story takes off, we see Olivia mourning the death of her brother, and we are also informed that to honor her brother's memory, she will not see any man for the next 7 years. However, she gives up her vow readily for Cesario. Being a woman of power and position, she also displays concern and sympathy. Despite the fact that her uncle Toby is such a nuisance, she lets him continue staying with her. In fact, she also brings an end to the practical joke played on Malvolio despite his crazy behavior. Sir Toby Belch is Olivia's uncle. He does not display any politeness or sophistication that money and position of high birth brings with it. Unlike his niece, he is hardly even found speaking properly or articulately. Sir Toby is like a cunning parasite. He continues staying at his niece's place and brings in Sir Andrew to woo Olivia so that he can use Sir Andrew's money as well. He is one of the main reasons for the comedy in the play. He is loud, abusive, and devoid of any kind of subtle humor or good manners. His role as a guardian figure to Olivia, especially after the death of her father and brother, is questionable. His constant drinking results in his being labeled as a non-serious person. But he is a cunning man. In order to continue his stay at Olivia's house, he fools Sir Andrew so that the latter can bear his expenses. He is also careful to keep up good behavior in the eyes of Olivia so that he is not thrown out of his shelter. Sir Andrew Agutic is one of the rich knights of Illyria. He is a coward and can be easily brainwashed. That is the sole reason why he does not acknowledge Olivia's refusal of his marriage proposal and continues to believe that Olivia is just pretending to reject him. He is a contrast to Sir Toby in appearance and manner. Sir Toby is loud, cunning and rowdy, while Sir Andrew is timid, foolish and a weakling. Feste is one of the best of Shakespeare's professional fools, but there is much wisdom in his foolery. He was Olivia's father's jester and is now hers. An excellent singer, he also plays the pipe and tabor. An expert in word play, he attempts to bring Olivia out of her melancholy and mourning. He very cleverly criticizes Olivia's excessive mourning for her brother and appears to be the only member of Olivia's household who thinks that she should be cheered up. His wordplay is also useful in convincing people to give him money. He is shrewd to see the weakness of his superiors. He knows that Sir Toby is a fool. He understands the fickleness and unpredictability of the Duke. He mercilessly pokes fun at the weak intellect of Sir Andrew. He can act as Sir Topaz, the curate, and still play the fool. Indeed, he is the most versatile of fools and a favorite with everyone. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comment box given below. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.